Okay, with Kimber Leigh, Pick It Up America, Life is a Beach is the short film, played at the Wild Sound Festival documentary. But then we also, I think at a female festival, we also showed your other film together with ALS, A Wife's Perspective. So you're a documentary filmmaker, is that sort of what you kind of center on is documentaries?
Well, I love comedies and documentaries.
Okay.
I love films that uplift and entertain and make people feel good.
Well, this one makes you feel good. So it's Saturday. Are you based in Hawaii? You're in Hawaii?
Yes, I live on the Big Island. So there's 8 islands and
Yeah.
I live, it's the Big Island and the documentary Pick It Up America, I filmed it at Hapuna Beach, which is about a mile from where I live.
I've never been to Hawaii. Should I go? Everybody says that I should go.
Yes, you should, especially to the Big Island because it's very, very healing, both
Yeah.
emotionally and physically. So if you have any ailments and you come here, they'll be gone before you leave. I've seen it
Really?
happen. It has
Is that
happened.
because of the universal health care that's there, or I'm just kidding, but
Well, yeah, it's the earthly health care.
earthly health care. Okay. Are you from Hawaii originally?
No, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and then I had most of my formative years in Arizona. And
Okay.
I've been here for 10 years now. So I literally just slid off the
Yeah, I
map.
was gonna say. Yeah. Well, I
Yes.
know people who go there and they don't want to leave and they want to kind of stay there.
That's what happened to me. I visited 5 times and I kept asking life, how do I get to stay here? Please make this happen. And here I am.
Well, there's a lot to tackle with your film. So you kind of centered on this beach. Why? How did this kind of idea to make a film about this? It's Hapuna Beach, right?
Hapuna, yes.
Hapuna. Why did
hmm
you kind of when did this kind of inspiration come for you to make a film about this beach?
So I was typically the street that I live on is 2.1 miles one way, and everybody exercises, and I was walking it, but it's very difficult to get your walk in because you meet your neighbor and you start talking story. So I decided to go to the beach. It is also 2 point some miles round trip, so you're able to get the same amount of miles in, and I've been walking it for about 8 years now. And I've seen so many near drownings, accidents. I almost also drowned it in that beach or drowned in that beach. So there's a lot of tourists and people that come here that have never seen a beach in their life. And I came home and I was telling my husband every incident that I saw happen. And he said, Kimber, you're a filmmaker. He said, do something about it. And so that's how the documentary became to fruition.
So tell me about you almost drowned in the beach.
Yes, I was with my husband and my 2 kids, and I had my back to the ocean, which is something you should never ever do. And because there's always like that eighth to 10th rogue wave, it just comes out of nowhere and it's forceful, and you never know when it's going to hit. And it hit me in the back and it swept me under. Now, I was in knee deep water. But when it swept me under, it's
Yeah.
called washerboarding. You just go like this. And my daughter tried to pick me up, but she was laughing so hard. And I'm like, I'm drowning down here. And she tried a second time, and I got up and I realized the strength of the ocean. I have
Mm.
such a deep reverence and respect for it. It's unbelievable. So the number one rule is never, ever, ever turn your back on the ocean.
So what do you mean by that? Like you should always look at the shore when you're in the ocean?
Yeah, you should always look out to the
But walk
horizon.
backwards?
Yes, well, no, when you walk in, you're facing it, right? When
Yeah,
you walk into the ocean, you're facing it. A lot of people, I see them, I don't know why they put their fins on and they start to walk in backwards. And
okay,
I just don't understand the logic in that. And or they're playing with their kids. Their kids are
sure.
facing the ocean and their back is to it. and they don't see this massive wave coming, and I do. And when you, especially at Hapuna or any beach, there's that rogue wave that goes like this. It comes
Mm.
in and it goes out, and it could take two kids in two separate directions. As a parent, who are you going to save? So,
So it's a beautiful, obviously it's a beautiful beach without, it goes without saying. And you talk about like the waste and the debris, and it's almost like you want of course, the tourists fuel your economy, right? Like you kind of mentioned that
mhm.
there's 200,000 people who go into the ocean, tourists every year. So that you don't want the tourists to go away because I'm assuming that's very important for the economy in Hawaii, but at the same time, they're kind of hurting it at the same time, right?
Right. Well, so it's just like if you go to visit someone's house, you're not going to go in there and trash it. It's real simple. If you go to the beach and you bring something, just make sure you take everything you brought back with you, because the sea life, I've seen turtles with
Mhm.
strings of fishing wire just like being pulled out, and sharks with uh, hooks in their mouth, and turtles with the fishing wire around the fins, and then they're swallowing the plastics because people just think, oh, it's just a little piece of paper that the sandwich came in. But those animals don't know, that sea life doesn't know it's not good to ingest, and then they
Yeah.
end up with all this bloating. And yes, we do definitely want the tourist here.
Yeah.
It's just really simple. Talk to a lifeguard, be cognizant of your children, what they're doing, and just take whatever you bring with you, take it back with you.
Well, this is not just on this beach. Obviously, it's a problem in a lot of places around the world, right? So, and
Right.
and the fish are changing. They're like their whole, like you said, the one fish is like they're becoming feminized, like their
Hmm.
reproductive system is changing. Like there's stories where like fish were like crabs, for example, were like in obviously in Maine area we know that like lobster crabs now they've gone way outside way out in the Atlantic Ocean because of the environment and because people and because of tourists and they've the whole ecosystem of the oceans have completely changed. So no wonder the ocean gets mad at us and wants to drown some humans.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
We're not making many friends anywhere
No.
we go.
Yeah.
It's so
I think they
sad.
want us to go away, to be honest with you. So yeah.
Yes, and so the people aren't aware that the heart medications that they take, or the women who are on birth control. Of course, you're in the ocean, you don't want to get out because it's really far to go to the bathroom. And when they urinate in the ocean, it's actually changing the ecosystem. And
Yep.
as you said, it's changing it's sterilizing the sea life. We have to just do better and educate ourselves, and just have respect for that
Yeah.
beautiful body of water that makes us so happy, right?
Well, the urination's a tough one, right? Because you go into water, you have to pee, right? So and
Yes.
then how many outhouses are out there? Nobody wants to go in an outhouse. It's disgusting, right? So
Right. Well, at our beach, and I'm sure, and this doesn't just have to do with Habuna, we do want it to be a global message, but
yeah. No,
and in
that's I'm
beautiful,
saying it's an allegory to a lot of beaches. Yeah.
yes, and they do have the beautiful brick bathrooms, so the outhouses aren't.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but it's just people start drinking alcohol and you get
Hmm.
lazy and you don't want to leave your kids. But it's just something to think about, every time you ingest those meds and you're going to the beach, any beach in the world, just understand that you're contributing to the ecosystem underwater.
And then so you mentioned obviously the ecosystem, the waste, and you talk about the drowning. So you have a stat like that. I didn't know that there's that many tourists like drown like in Hawaii.
It's anywhere
Yeah,
globally. In Hawaii here, what really pushed me to make the documentary was last summer there were four, or I'm sorry, three drownings
yeah.
and then one near drowning. And I see it happening. I sometimes actually have to stop my walk and leave because I don't want to have to go save somebody. And
Well, there is lifeguards there, right? So
yeah, there are lifeguards,
mhm,
but again, at
it
one
gets
time,
busy.
yeah, at one section of the lifeguards, there could be 500
Yeah,
tourists
yeah.
in one section, and there are three lifeguard stands. So there's been a few times I've had to run and get a lifeguard. So, because I don't have the strength to go help someone, and the best thing to do when you go to the beach is stop at the lifeguard stand. They'll tell you what the waves are. And especially here on the Big Island, the winds, we have trade winds. So the winds pick up and they change on
Yeah.
a dime. And if you think you're in calm water, in just 3 minutes, it could change and you're getting wiped out.
So I watched your film and it says pick it up America, life is a beach, but I thought it should be pick it up people, life is a beach.
Yes.
Because it's not
It,
just America, right? Like it's easy to like I'm not American, so it's easy to like make fun of Americans, but but it's really people, right? Because it's not
it
just
is.
tourists to go, yeah,
Yes, it that the title came from my husband
yeah,
because again, when he said you're a filmmaker and he goes, I even have the title for you. So I was
yeah,
like, okay, yeah, that works. And it again, it should be a global thing,
yeah.
but uh yeah, now that you said that, thanks, Matthew.
No. I'm saying it in jest, right? But it's just like
Yes.
because yeah. No, what I'm saying is that people, especially tourists, we can be a little. I'm saying we, like, because I've been a
Yes.
tourist. I'm from Niagara Falls. I'm from a tourist city. I saw the ignorance of tourists, right? Like they don't
Mhm.
care. They just throw things
Yeah.
on the ground. They people are at their worst when they're on vacation. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, they are. They
Yeah,
just have that tunnel vision. There's nobody else in this world but me
yeah,
right now and my family. And yes, I see it a lot here every day.
yeah, yeah. I saw it growing up, so it was like.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was like it was very eye-opening. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's true, but it's like it's the plastic though. The plastic is so bad for us. Whoever invented that is just like you see it, right? Like it's so bad
Hmm.
for for the animals, so bad for the beach. It's just like this, it's like really terrible. And that's what people bring, like, they bring their sandwiches and everything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, the families bring those plastic buckets and shovels and things for the kids to play with. What
Hmm.
ends up happening is they leave them pretty much where the wave line stops. You can tell where the sand is wet and
Yeah.
where it's dry, but every now and then, again, that one wave will come up unexpected, and people think their bucket and their shovel and their boogie board is safe, and it comes and it just whoosh, takes it out and it's gone, ends up
Hmm.
in the whale's belly, and it's horrifying. It's
Yeah, it
just
is.
horrifying.
Okay, so you kind of decide your husband said go out and shoot so you got a couple of interviews. You shot on your phone, right? Was
Yes, I did.
yeah,
So
that's
he
great.
took me to the store, and we got the latest version of the iPhone because again, I live on an island. Very difficult to make films here. I did another documentary called Taking Your Crack at Filmmaking, because it's so difficult to find crew, people that are willing, equipment. So I use the iPhone, and I just use the sound on the iPhone. But I have the editor Roman Aguirre, so fabulous. I'm so grateful to him because whatever mishaps there were in the documentary, he was able to fix it. So,
And then
and then
where did you? Uh,
and then the underwater stuff was shot on an older, because it was older footage that I have. I'm a diver, so I went underwater. And if you ever try to photograph a moving target, It's so difficult, but the underwater footage was done on an older iPhone.
I was going to ask you that because, but that's all your footage. You did, it's nothing stock footage. It's all your that stuff that you took.
Yes, all the underwater footage was my footage.
Good stuff.
And thank you. And some of the footage talking about the plastics, that some of that was stock. I think there were 3 frames, but the rest of it was all
What about
natural.
the crane shots? You had some crane shots from above.
Those were done by Ray Schmidt. Ray and I have worked together. He has a drone. There are certain areas here in Hawaii where you can't use them. So he went to the Puako Bay area, which is where I live, and he did it in that area. But he's an amazing drone operator.
So you got interviews, the lifeguard, you interview some other people. Nobody, I'm assuming that they don't want a tourist to die on the beach. That's pretty, that's bad news. Let's put it that way, right? That's
Yeah,
nobody
it
wants to,
and
yeah.
and it's funny because just a week ago, I have a neighbor that lives 2 doors from me. She went speed walking at Hapuna. Her toe got caught in a lava rock because there's lava everywhere on the big island.
Mhm.
And she fell and fell on compacted sand and busted her shoulder. They had to rebuild it, call an ambulance to come down. Now, this is somebody that is just walking the beach. So any beach, no matter where you're at, you just be cognizant, look around you, see what is in the environment, what kind of environment it is. It lava? Is there rock? And even sand, you have to be careful because it's like hitting cement when you fall.
So tell me about your other film, Together with ALS, A Wife's Perspective.
Yes, that was a film that a friend of mine that I had known called me up and asked me if I would document her husband going through his journey with ALS. And she said the time is right now because it affects the vocal cords and he could barely talk. Very difficult to film that. I don't want to ever see anybody suffer. And someone with ALS, it's actually like being a prisoner inside your own body. And by the way, he passed away last year. So, oh,
But you have them documented though. Like you've documented, like it's there, I guess, right? So
yes.
yeah.
And it has helped a lot of people. I think I know that the documentary could help anybody with
Mhm.
that has been diagnosed with any type of illness because it focused on the caregivers. And caregivers don't get a lot of
No.
attention. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just 24/7. And so Liana, who was the wife of the husband of ALS, she wanted to focus on what the caregiver goes through. And so that's what we did. And to this day, she's still trying to come out of it. Difficult journey for sure.
Yeah. No, it's the there yeah, there's caregivers of like there's a study too, like you gotta always watch out because sometimes a lot of caregivers have their own health issues after the person passes away, right? So
Yes, and that's Liana is going through that as well as her dog, believe it or
yeah.
not, because the dog was really close to the husband. And speaking of dogs, did you know that dogs can also get ALS?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, I got approached by somebody to do a documentary on dogs that get ALS. I thought, how horrible. It's just, that was mind blowing to me.
So you've had quite the journey. It seems like you wrote a book, right? Garbage. Great
Yes,
title.
Greta Garbage.
That's like kind
It
of a
was,
personal, it's like a memoir, I guess, right?
yes, it's a memoir self-help because, of course, you don't want to share struggles and challenges without providing a how to get out of it. And I've actually written 3 books and one workbook. And I also just came back from New York for New York Fashion Week and I won top model. So you can add that to the resume.
I was getting there. I was getting there. I was gonna like I was saving the best for last. No, but basically you are a model. Like how long you've been a model for a long time, right?
I first started at the age of 19. If you read the book Greta Garbage,
Yeah.
there was lots of challenges in my own life, and I got back into it in my 40s, believe it or not,
Yeah.
and just loved the art of telling a picture, of telling a story with one picture. And I think that's what made me want to become a filmmaker because, of course, the moving frame, right?
Mhm.
But if you can tell a story with one frame, and I just fell in love with it. Never would have ever imagined being on a runway because it wasn't something that was in my mind, but I found out that I got there serendipitously through this, and it's too long to share, but it was this process of serendipitous moments. And then I realized, oh my goodness, being on the runway is performative art. You're
Yeah.
moving, they're taking pictures, but and you're entertaining the people there. But it's about the fabric and the clothing
Mhm.
and fashion is an art.
Um, so you were discovered, I guess. You got
Yeah,
discovered in Pittsburgh?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually here in Hawaii, but it was someone reached out to me from the mainland
Oh,
in
sorry.
Arizona.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah.
Yes,
I
that's
was born
okay.
there, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so someone reached out to me when I was living here from Arizona, which is where most of my film career was.
Hmm.
And they saw, she kept this woman, this designer, Svitek, kept saying, I'd like to work with you. I'd like to work with you. How do we do that? And she ended up having me do a photo shoot for her wedding gowns. And it got submitted to a magazine, and I ended up making the cover of that magazine. And then that magazine was walking her girls in New York Fashion Week in 2023. And she invited me to come along. And then that company ended up picking me up. So
Wow.
a series of, I'm not supposed to be here, but I am.
But okay, so then but basically it's like a that's kind of incredible. Like what the way like that kind of story. And people don't like I love how you describe like there's a story you're kind of telling a story through the fashion runway. I don't think a great that there's a documentary there. I don't think a great documentary has been made about it yet. Maybe because everybody's so pretty, everybody's just like it's like nobody wants the everybody kind of dismisses it, I guess, right?
It's interesting that you
Yeah.
said that because it's with our ex runway, and I've done this was my fourth season with them. They have, yes, they have beautiful people. You know, you can be beautiful inside and maybe have a look that most would say, I don't think model, no.
Yeah.
But our ex runway really embraces all types, older women, teens, children, just anything that is not the typical, but yet the typical beautiful long-legged
Hmm.
model. So I really love them because they view it as an art. Their COO, which is Royal Cromwell, fabulous. He knows all the history about fashion. So I mentored under him, and he is the one that actually, with his mentorship and coaching, got me to the top model status. So because it's not anything, like I said, that was in my
Yeah.
fortune card, right?
Then how did you get into making films?
So I'm a retired flight attendant, and in my middle of my career, the airline was holding auditions for a national commercial. And there were, I don't know, 300 people that auditioned, and they all had agencies. And I was just like, oh, that sounds like fun. Let me try it. And I ended up getting the part. It was the most money I ever made acting because it aired nationally. And I got bit by the acting bug and ended up in 1995. I was doing a feature, I was in a feature film as an extra and just kept climbing the ladder.
And then why did you decide to go behind the scenes then?
Because every time I would build a team or build something, something would happen. They'd either find a bigger, better production, or so I kept finding myself without work, and I had such a passion for it. So I just decided, well, everybody starts somewhere, and I'm going to start. And I went to a director, Steve Wargo, 100 years ago, and it seems like, and I asked him if he would teach me how to be a producer director, and he took me under his wing. I made my first film, produced my first film. It was called To Some Degree. It was about the housing market when it crashed in 2007. And from that moment on, I just, again, I started as a producer, and then during COVID, I entered a film challenge with the Almost Famous Film Festival, and I used my iPhone again, and my husband filmed me. We wrote this story called Emotionation about a woman who had to use her imagination to get out of the stress of COVID, which was diving. And that's when I was like, wow, I love this. I love directing the narrative. I love telling the truth. I love storytelling. I love entertaining. I love putting, to me, as a director, it feels like a puzzle. You're trying to put all the pieces together, and then you show this beautiful puzzle to the world.
That's amazing. And then so what's next for you? So you've
Uh,
written the book, you've done modeling, you've made some award-winning short films, you've acted, you were a flight attendant, you're
yeah,
married, you have kids.
yes.
Yeah.
So what's next for me is I told you I do love comedy. So I have Clora Rowland and I are directing. We did Invasion of the Space Vixen, which has won all over the world, comedy, and it's about comforting the world because the world's so uncomfortable right now. So we come to Earth to bring comfort, and we're on part two right now. It just got done getting edited. It's called Vixen Comforts Fixin' because we're gonna fixin' everything. And then we have a part three. So it's a three-part comedy short series. And also, but my biggest passion right now is I want to do a documentary on the Maui fires because I personally know a family that their house burnt down just as the husband put the last coat of paint on his remodeled home. And they have just this week moved into their brand new rebuilt home in Lahaina after everyone told them they couldn't do it, including me. So that is, I'm still waiting to get the yes from the family. I've talked to them about it because I think their resilience would be so inspiring to everyone in the world. So, and then also I want to do another documentary called Sound of the Soul, which is healing. It's been scientifically proven that when you use healing bowls, because our bodies are made up of frequency and
Mm.
vibration, that it's the best health care. So
Healing
that's,
bowl. Like it's the one that you put in and you,
yeah, you go around the white healing bowls, and there's
yeah,
probably 7 or 8 different variations, and they can heal animals, heal emotional, mostly the emotional, because the emotional is what gets us out of our frequency.
yeah.
So it puts us back together again. And there's just not enough information out there because they just scientifically proved it. So again, it's stuff that I
Yeah.
love making, telling stories that eventually 10 years from now, people will be educated.
Well, if you think about it, right? Like we have the intellectual, right? So people like go to school, kind of read books. We have the physical where we work out, tell you to work out, like you described it at the beginning, working out, right? We have like the spiritual, which is, some sort of religion or some sort of ideology of whatever the world is about. But the emotional is something that really doesn't get talked about as much, especially in the Western world, right? And I think that it's true. It's like it's something that it's just like I'm using those four kind of elements of like of the
Mhm.
soul, right? And but the
Right.
emotional is the thing that's talked about the least.
Yeah, that's so true. And, think about it this way, like when you go to therapy or you have an ailment, you go to the doctor, if they fix you, you don't have to come back.
That's their
Well,
job. Their job
yeah,
is the physical. They don't care about
yeah,
anything else, right? Yeah.
right. So if you can heal emotionally
Mhm.
first, put that part of your body back together, then the rest of it is, if we are not if we are a frequency, then we need to understand that and utilize these tools that are given to us to help heal. And there are so many other modalities for healing, but I think this one is so fascinating, and we will touch on the others.
No, 100%. It's like when someone, especially when someone goes through something traumatic, right? Where
Yes.
I remember I got in like a pretty major car accident, and then you get out of the hospital, and then they're like, "Oh, here's your new car," right? And it's like here's your
Hmm.
like your and it's like I am so messed up. It's like and but they want me to drive my car right away, right? It's like
Yes.
because I'm physically okay. But it's like I
Hmm.
remember like having to get out of the parking lot. I'm like, I shouldn't be driving a car because you know what I mean? But it's like, but I check all the boxes for being okay to drive, but emotionally, I was a wreck,
Yeah.
right?
Right. So it's things like that that I love to tell stories about. If it's educating, if it's truthful, if it tells a really good story, sign me up, because that is where the passion is. I
Yeah.
love helping. I mean, I was a flight attendant for 21 years. I was helping hundreds and hundreds of people, making them
Poor
comfortable.
you. I'm sure you had some pretty terrible people on the flights.
Oh, yes. But but I was flying when the world was still very romantic. And what a
Oh, so it's
blessing.
not there. It's not there anymore.
Not in the way that I mean, when I
Like
was
pre
a
nine
flight,
eleven.
I tried to quit on 9/11
Mm-hmm.
and was told just take some time off. But I never went back after 9/11 for this reason, because again, so much romance, so much everybody just doing what made them happy, whether that was, it was so interesting because you're in this container with these people, and you have this religious group that is kneeling down and praying over their food, and this family over here doing what they do, and everybody was just doing what they did without judgment.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing to witness. And when 9/11 happened, somehow I knew in my heart I would never experience that joy, that freedom, that
Yeah.
romance again. So that's when I turned full on to film and storytelling. And
I can just add one thing to that is because when I was a kid, I was very fortunate enough to travel a lot. I mean, I had some great conversations as a kid on flights, like people from all over the world. But also technology is different. So when I have to travel for work, whatever, nobody talks on the plane anymore. Everybody's just on their phones and they're including
Mhm.
myself, right? I'm
Right.
just as guilty. And you're like nobody's engaging with anybody, right? So nobody trusts anybody anymore, right? So
Hmm. But the one thing that being a flight attendant did for me, it really gave me great spidey senses, because we were always taught to look around, make sure everybody,
yeah.
make sure you're not in danger. And for 21 years of living like that, like I am so fine-tuned. I can look at people, places, and things and go, yes, no, yes, no.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, it was quite a gift to that. And then you had to go through recurrent training every year. So, which again, intense medical. uh, see, back then they used to call it hijacking. Hijacking. I was never afraid of hijacking because of the
Mhm.
word high. So now they use the word terrorism. Well, that's terrifying and that doesn't feel good.
Oh, that's
So,
interesting. It's all about semantics. It's all about the wording, right? So,
yeah,
yeah,
because words carry vibrations
yeah.
and yeah, so I was like, well, when they changed the word of hijacking, I didn't want to go to recurrent training anymore. I was done with that. So,
It's interesting that you just talk about like Spidey sense. You can kind of like take lay of the land because they're looking at you and you're just looking at them, right?
but they don't think you're looking at them. They just see a person in a uniform
Yeah.
and you're so friendly. Good morning, hello, goodbye, bye bye
I,
now, have a nice day.
yeah.
And they don't see that intense depth of training. They have no idea that I've jumped out of an airplane and I've sat in a rubber uh, boat with all these people that's covered because it's simulated, but you're sweating to death, and they
Mhm.
don't know the intense education that you have. They just see this flight attendant serving a drink and food. So,
Yeah. Because we're all like the go finish everything off. We're all kind of narcissists in our own nature, and we're destroying the planet, and hopefully we can get back to our romantic lives. And speaking of that, to finish things off, I saw that you renew your vows with your husband every single year, so you are a true romantic, I guess.
yes, absolutely. And it happened serendipitous again. My whole life's been a series of serendipity. But when we got married, we went on our anniversary, or I'm sorry, on our honeymoon. And while on our honeymoon, we went to a Vegas show, and they called us up on stage, and they renewed our vows for us. And we got off stage, and my husband said, "Wow, that was so fun. We should do that every year." And he has kept that commitment. We have been married, renewed every year in a different state. This year we went to Ketchikan, Alaska, went on a seaplane on a remote island and renewed. So I do want to do a documentary about it
Yeah, you
because
should.
thank you. Saying I do to your partner every year, it feels like you're on a forever honeymoon. I mean, so there's no time for that boredom or junk to set in. But I didn't know you knew that. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, I was looking up. I found that interesting, right? So yeah. So yeah,
So I'm
you're
gonna
on to
do the
something.
I'm gonna do the documentary on our 10th year, which is not this July, but next July. So
27.
yeah, I have all of the footage and it was actually my husband's idea again because it's so important to bring romance back into the world. We need it desperately. They don't make romantic movies
They
anymore.
don't.
No, and it's
Well,
an emo
Hallmark does, but they're terrible. But yeah, that's subjectively speaking. Yeah.
if there's an
Yeah.
agenda behind the story,
Yeah.
yes. If you're just talking true, real
Yeah.
romance,
Yeah.
that's what I want to do while I'm here, is to bring that emotion front and center if I could at all.
Yeah, you're right. They don't like if you look at the last 20 years, that it's like it's the movie industry has changed so drastically, but like there isn't that Hollywood romance anymore, right? So
Right, like Bogey and Bacall.
sure, yeah. Like
Right.
McConaughey and Hudson. No, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's just yeah.
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 It's been so fun talking to you, Matthew.
Thank you.
I and such a pleasure to see you in person.
Yeah. Well, let's talk again when you make your next film.
I sure will. I would love that. And good luck with your festival. And I love Wild Sound Film Festival.
Thank you.